Hey y'all, I hope everybody's doing well. If I sound like I got like congestion, it's because I do. It's eat up with pollen out there, y'all. It's terrible, terrible. So I thought about this. It's not a review, but I thought about this because I'm going to make videos like this from time to time, and I know it's going to rancor some people. It's going to tick some people off, but it's not my intent. My intent is to have educated and thoughtful ideas about, are we doing what we should be doing? And if we're not, how do we fix it? Or how do we do better in what we were doing? Okay, that's all it's about. It's my opinion. And your opinion is valid just as much as mine. And I look forward to hearing what your opinions are. So here goes. Are we training like we should? I've done videos on this before. And it keeps going back to the same narrative that I don't believe we are. Here goes. Military and police train less than people who are not military and police. There's more people out here who train in the civilian world more than the police and the military in this world. Why is that? Is it an initiative, a drive? Yes. It's a resource? Yes, that they're providing. It's all those good things. But why is it that on the police side and the military side, there's less? You ever thought about that? Is it police department's fault? Is it the military's fault? The answer to that, in my opinion, once again, my opinion is no and no. The answer to that is the problem lies in we, the society. Society is the problem. For example, I know some people that, thank you for your service, by the way, police and military. I know some people that are in both. They couldn't tell you a butt stock from a muzzle brake. Couldn't do it. I know guys that are coming in to be let that have never held a pistol in their life, nor an AR. Don't know a thing about it. So what is the factor? What is the issue that we're getting people in these things that do absolutely not know just the basics of firearms? And it's because of society. Society creates the world that we're in. And I think that's where that needs to be addressed. That needs to be fixed. You have to train, the society has to train us, and we being part of society, we fall under that realm of, because I know some police officers that do not like people with guns. They don't want people to have guns. Are they wrong in that thought? Or is it a societal training? Are they trained that way? What's the difference between an Alabama police officer and a New York police officer? Not knocking on New York, not knocking on Alabama. What's the difference? I think it's a lot. Midwestern police officers versus northern police officers. It's a big difference. Ask a Chicago police officer, do you think a citizen should have the right to exercise that they have to carry a firearm down those streets of Chicago? I would pretty much say they would say no. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I believe that they would say no to that. If they say that they should, praise them. All right, man, because I agree with that. I don't agree that we should not be. Anyhow, back to the part I'm getting about. So since for example, our military, you know, you look at the advertisements, you look at the recruiting, it has nothing to do with rifles or pistols or shotguns. It has nothing to do with it. But yet our military, the number one thing about our military is what? I'm going to kill you. Our military is about killing people. Militaries across the world are about killing people. Don't blame me, ask Ukraine. Okay, they are trained to execute the orders of their country, and they're trained to use force to coerce the other side, either kill them or make them surrender. That's my opinion. Your mileage may vary, but at the bottom end, but the final result of it is, when diplomacy fails, they break out a cartridge box. That's it. So we're never going to get a good level of competent, trained police officers and military as long as we have a society that doesn't want competent, trained police and military. I mean, look at our government structure. Look at the anti-police movement right now about defunding the police departments. Okay, when military defense budgets comes out, look at the people who stand up and scream bloody murder about the police about the military's budgets. We can get into a whole different topic of the corruption in budgets, because there is that too. But putting that off the side, even in the places like I live in, rural country areas, there's no place I can shoot. I can't just walk out my back door and pop a shot off, because I'm not in a rural area like that anymore. There's no police range that I can go to. Not in this county. Not in the county I live in. There's not one police range that is available to me anytime that I want it. Now I can call up a chief who is very open about that. He opens the gate for me. I get in, etc. But what I'm speaking of is there's not a range that officers can go to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, sign in with their ammo and their weapon, and go shoot, day or night. So all the advantages to taking the opportunity to go shoot is stripped from you. See what I'm getting at? It's society that creates that. Because we could get a range here in the county that is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, monitored. You got a 12-hour daytime crew, and you got a 12-hour nighttime crew. That's not out of the realm of possibility. Because I don't want to shoot during the day. I want to shoot at low-level hours. I don't want to shoot at night. Why? Because I also live in the world of, like tonight. I go to work tonight. Low-level hours at night. But it's not there. It's not available. In major metropolitan police departments, maybe it is. But here, it's not. And once again, it goes right back to how crazy it is. Here, where I live at, people are armed all the time. People carry guns all the time. In Chicago and New York, if you carry a gun and you've got a felony record, whoops. If the police are involved in something and you're there and then you have a weapon, you're gonna probably get hit with a felony charge, and it's gonna stick. It's gonna stick like Slimer on the wall, man. You're done. That's not right. You got constitutional carry states. You got shell issue permit states that you can carry it, but you can't train. Then we're going back to training. So you pay for training, which is what we should be doing, and I'm all for that. But I have a problem with the training that we're doing, because the trainers that are coming out, thank you for your service. I did X number of years in SWAT. I did X number of years in Marine Force Recon. I did X number of years Green Beret. X number of years Navy SEAL. I did X number of years of this. I did X number of years of that. Okay. So then they're going to go through the training. But their training is based off their knowledge, their experience, what they've been through. Case in point. Let's do a hypothetical. This is an example. You have a shooting. Okay? there's one. No, there's two. There's two shooters. Okay? And let's say you're one of the lucky ones and you're able to stop threat number one. Threat number two is still on the move. He's running. He's still a threat. You want to stop the threat. Okay? Now we're going to take all the other issues of law, litigation, all that. This is a bad situation and there's death. What are you going to do? And you got lucky. You got the first one. And the second one's running. Open parking lot, crowded. Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, kids, moms, dads are going into stores. And it's just a huge parking lot. A lot of people, a lot of movement. So what are you going to do? Right? What are you going to do? Well, if you look at some of these videos, what's the first thing to do? The gun's on safe, and they're running like this, or they're running like that. Now let me tell you something. In my opinion, you do what you want to do. This is what I'm going to do. If I got a guy running, and he's got a gun, and I got a gun in my hand, and other people are on their way, or other people are there, what do you think might just happen to you running like this or running like that? You're probably going to get shot. Me, what I would do is I'd take that weapon and I'd holster it. You'd holster a gun in a gunfight? Yes, I would. Because I'm not in uniform. Neither are you. I have no identifications. I have no tags. And I've yet seen somebody in a gunfight deal with a cell phone to tell exactly word for word, line for line, what in the hell is going on. Now, if you got a battle buddy that you can stack up somewhere and get on that phone and say, my friend is this. My friend has this on his body. My friend has a weapon. My friend is using it in defense of life. My friend is da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And you can get that kind of great detail. Beautiful, man, beautiful. But 99.9% of the time, every one of us out here are lone wolf McQuades. What I mean by that is, it's just, I see a lot of videos of this teamwork ethics. Okay, that's in a class, but the reality of it is that team is now in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, wherever, New York, California, etc., etc. You see what I'm getting at, right? The only team I got is my wife. I'm a two-man team. Even as a police officer, when I go out tonight, I don't have a team. I work by myself. Another case in point, majority of your police departments and the majority of your emergency services, they are small man crews spread through all out the United States. So just remember that. So like tonight when I go to work, I'm by myself. If I need backup, if I need someone to help me, I gotta wait for it. And I'll be in uniform. Case in point though, if I am running, I'm not running with a loaded gun in my hand. Why? Because I don't want to fall and shoot myself. I don't want to have a issue where I accidentally discharge a firearm and shoot somebody. I'd rather take the chance, put that gun in the holster, even in uniform, and run to the fight. And when I get to where I'm going to be, and I stage myself up, I get myself to where it's a fighting position, I will draw the weapon and I'll use it. Now you take the uniform and all that out of the way, and here you are just going to the store. There's a shooting and you got one guy. You were lucky you got one. Now the luck is out the window. And here you are running. Just because you got a concealed carry permit doesn't mean, or it's a shell carry state, doesn't mean there ain't somebody else with, or 15 or 20 other people with the same paperwork, with the same. Well, I took the class, which that's not the end all, and that's usually where people end. I took the concealed carry class, I'm good. No, hell no. Get your ass out there and take some better training. But never bring a gun to a gunfight without a friend with a gun. Okay? So if you're out there in the parking lot, this is a hypothetical, my opinion, what I would do, I'd be yelling out to everybody else, he shot somebody, get that guy. Does anybody else have a gun? Come help me. Start yelling, open your mouth. Because I'm telling you, what happens is the brain shuts down. And you get this tunnel vision effect, and all kinds of weird stuff happens. Either you lose you have it in your head, but you can't speak it, or you can't hear no one left or right of you, but you can hear the car horn or the radio or a baby crying. You can't hear somebody screaming. It's just the oddest thing. So that's what I would do, and that's what I'm trying to get at in this video. And I think I hate to say, I don't articulate things well, but one of the things that I think Lucas Botkins has said pretty good is society has to change for us to have our inherent rights reestablished. You know, if you go back and look at some of his other videos, he talks about the way we once were versus the way we are now. And a good analogy of that is what Stalin once said, I call a door a chicken, you will laugh at me. But if I call that door a chicken enough, the third generation will call that door a chicken. Okay? Like short barrel rifles and AR pistols. Majority of police officers I know couldn't tell you what the difference is. But the majority of you guys on YouTube that have an avid interest in this can. Educate. Be a friend, not an enemy. You get what I'm saying? We have to remember we're all citizens first. We're everything else secondary. And so I, as a citizen who is a serving police officer, I keep an open mind as to what I can learn from society and what society can learn from me. But as a whole, we have to change our programming of what society should be. So, you know, we have to have this this old mentality and this old ideology of thinking versus what we're dealing with today. So, I hope I've made some sense to the point that I'm trying to make about this, which is it's not the police department's fault that there's a lack of education, that there's a lack of training. And it's not the military's fault there's a lack of education and a lack of training. It's society. It's us. We're all the problem here. We're the fault for it. We're the fault that we're the world's largest indebted nation in the world. We're the fault that we are that we are slowly grinding ourselves into a depression. We are at fault that we have politicians that have been up there that have made themselves multi-millionaires off of our dime and our time. But in the name of good service, because I don't believe a lot of them do have good service up there, and I think they need to be called out for that. They pass laws, and then they put in subsection C, paragraph D. The law doesn't apply to us, it applies to everybody else. The law is for thee and not for me. Okay? And I think that's on the local levels with the towns, the counties, and the states also. You know, a lot of burdens placed on, for example, and all this is my opinion. It's not anybody else, it's just me. A lot of burden is placed on law enforcement officers to produce everything that's needed for the court, and I agree with that. But there needs to be some burden also placed on the prosecuting attorneys and the defense attorneys, because they lie. They lie in court. A lot. But they can't be touched because there's actually laws that protect them. The only time they got to worry about something is if the man in black or the woman in black calls them up there and they place their hand on that Bible. So, and even judges need to have more. Everything should be a check and balance system. That's all I'm trying to get at. I don't think there is. I don't think there is that level of a check and balance system. So the little scenario I gave you, you think about that. What would you do? Like I'm at Walmart and I've got my trunk gun in the truck, and here I am pulling out this AR and I got this thing stacked up. Now I want you to think about that. Or I got this AK pistol. I want you to think about this. Think about that. I don't think that'll go well. That'll breed well with society, even though you're on the side of the good. Okay. The gentleman in Texas who stopped that dangerous man in that church shooting. God bless him, and God bless the guy that drove him to stay in the fight. AR. But he was vilified by society. The other gentleman who shot the man in the church who was there, luckily he didn't hurt nobody. He was stopped. He was vilified also. Okay. Kyle Rittenhouse, vilified. I still think he should have been charged though for riots. I think he should have been charged for being involved in a riot. I think every damn one of those idiots ought to be charged for that stuff. But it goes right back to society. Government allows cities to burn political agendas, but you trample on January 6th, and now it's the same as Pearl Harbor, because you have now violated their office, their world, society. Okay? Both are wrong. Both are at fault. But one side vilifies one, and one side heroes another. So, you take a good old lever action 30-30 or 30-06. And let's say it's an M1 Grand, and you pull that bad boy out, you're going to freak the hell out of somebody. They're going to say it's a machine gun, and they don't know a muzzle brake from a buttstock. So, all this stuff about trunk guns and man, dude, I don't do that. I don't do that. Because I've dealt with society long enough now to know that they're not educated and they're not qualified enough for us to do that. Because we're not educating them. We're not teaching them. We're not putting people in the county and in the state and in the federal level. You got guys in special forces up there in Washington, D.C. They don't talk a lot like we do. You know what I'm saying? It's like they get involved in stuff and they get up there and that head starts getting changed again. They don't stand. That's my opinion. What do y'all think? Be safe. Be back ready, y'all.